Haath jod ke meri benti eh hai, and even to my, I mean, speaking to you is speaking to me, right? Sadde vich ki fark hai? No, none at all. Manas ki jaat sabay ke pehchan bo. We all have our little cups. And sometimes when they start spilling, we get a little bit agitated. No, no, no. Let the cup spill. Sometimes, you know, the cup cannot contain the ocean until it breaks. When it breaks and it goes into smithereens, then it becomes the form of the ocean, and you cannot separate it from the ocean. Your mat has to break. Only when mat breaks will gurmat come. So when something challenges you, take a minute or two to actually absorb that. Okay, so whilst I went on that tangent, getting back to Vaisakhi Day. Now what I began my katha with yesterday in Malaysia was this. 80,000 people are standing before Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, according to most sources. Some people say 1 lakh, some people say more, some people say less. Let's not get into the nitty-gritty of that. You can read that in the history books at different places, and if you want to discuss that with me, the exact number, we can have that discussion at a different point. And I can tell you, this is what this says, this is what this says, this is what this says. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to do a head count, so I can't say to you this is the exact number. But I can give you the historical sources, right? And I can say this is what this person says, this is what that person says. Basically, there was a load of people there. Many people. The multitude had gathered at Sri Anandpur Sahib. And you know, Vaisakhi was already begun by Guru Amar Das Ji. So you may know that already, you may have read that. Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji was the Satguru Ji who began Vaisakhi, and Guru Amar Das Ji began the Diwali celebrations in the Guru house. The idea was to have 2 times in a year when every Sikh would get together and you'd all be able to join, Jod Mela. The idea of having these Khalsa week celebrations is to jod, is for us to join together, sit together, sing the praises of the Guru, and have these sessions where we can search our beliefs and look into Sikhi and listen to people who have lived the life as they come and sit before us. I'm not one of them, by the way. I have a lot of talk, not a lot of walk, so I want to shatter that little belief of yours. But there are people here who have spent time with great spiritual beings, and we have the opportunity to sit with them and listen to them. So as I got back, I hold him in my hand. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj pulled out his Kirtan. 80,000 people looked at the Kirtan. We're talking about Kakaars, right? So let's begin with one of the main Kakaars, which everybody sees. Even when we came to the airport today, I found out that there's you're only allowed to bring in a 15-centimeter Kirtan into Singapore, but we got around that with our links somehow. I was already wearing, mine is 7 inches, so it was under it. I blamed the person next to me who made me get out an hour and a half late. And that's why I was lying down here before you as you came in. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, if you just imagine the scene, Maharaj gets up after Asa Diwar, Sache Paatshah Ji's Kalgi is blowing in the wind. Maharaj Ji has a smile upon their face, because he knows what game he's about to play. The Prem Khilan Ka Chao is there within Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. He looks over the 80,000 and he does one thing which he knows will shape history for the rest of eternity. He pulls out a Kirtan. And once he pulls out the Kirtan, he says those words which you've all heard. Is there any Sikh who will give their head for their Guru? And he looks out amongst those 80,000. And 80,000 people looked at the Guru's Kirtan. And just like today, some of us see metal when we see the Kirtan. 80,000 people, you know what they saw? Most of them saw metal. Most of them saw destruction. Most of them saw death. Most of them saw pain. Most of them saw the end in the hands of that Guru. And you think these 80,000 people hadn't come and done Matha Tek to Guru Gobind Singh Ji? Each one of them probably had. Just like we've just come up here after doing Matha Tek. Most of us. Even then, and I'm not saying don't do Matha Tek now. Again, yesterday I said this in Katha, and you have to put your own little sapashti karna, as they say in Punjabi, little clarification. I'm not against Matha Tekna. But when you externally Matha Tek, there should be an idea to internalize that emotion too, that feeling too. And only by performing that physical matha tekna will you go on to the spiritual journey. Anyway, let's carry on a little bit. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj pulls out that Kirpan. If all 80,000 had seen what Bhai Dayaram saw, why didn't all 80,000 get up? Because they didn't see that. They saw death. They saw pain. They saw the end of life. Some of us now, when we look at the Panch Kakar, we look at it as some sort of jail, some sort of, please forgive me. We look at the 5Ks as a prison. We look at the 5Ks as a life sentence. We look at the 5Ks as a pain, as a weight. And that wasn't just us here. This isn't just us sitting here. That was those 80,000 as well sitting there. Those same people who would bow down to that Guru Gobind Singh Ji who was wearing a sword sitting before them. When he pulled out that sword, suddenly the whole game changed. Because the sword was in the myan, right? It was in the scabbard. It was in the sheath. That was okay. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. You keep it away from me, out of my sight. I'm quite happy. You keep the Kirtan in the myan and I'm okay. When you pull it out and you challenge me, that's when I lose it. And that's when people started getting up and going. People came to Mata Gujri Ji and they said, your son has gone mad. And these weren't Sangat members, these were the people who ran the Gurdwara, the Prabandhak Sajjan. They went up to Mata Gujri Ji, said, your son has gone insane, make Baba Ajit Singh the next Guru. This is true, this is in our history. It's not always told on the Vaisakhi because you, and then Bhai Dayaram got up. No, before Bhai Dayaram got up, a whole lot of stuff happened. The Masans, they go, they say, Mataji, the Guru has gone mad, the Guru has lost it, let us make Baba Ajit Singh the next Guru. Let us make any of the Sahibjade, let's make anyone else the next Guru, instead of this Guru who is pulling out his sword upon us. Jeda Guru Sikha nu maran lag paya, the Guru who has started attacking the Sikhs. How can we bow down to this man? How can we bow down to this Guru? Again, I'm using the word man because that's the way they looked at the Guru, not as Guru. Remember when someone, we don't need to use the word prophet. We don't need to use any of these other epithets that someone gives to the Guru because we have a word and it is a word enshrined in our Mool Mantra and that word is Guru. Why go out and beg for something which is made out of glass when you have gold at home? The Guru has given you gold. The Guru has given you diamonds. Mat vich ratan jawahar manik je ik gur ki. Par je sunenge tahi hai na. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? We look for these words which they cannot describe. Guru Nanak Dev Govind Roop. It's in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. The word Guru is used. Lehna Jagatra Gur. Parsamurar. Guru Nanak Dev Govind Roop. I've explained that to you anyway. All these things happen. Again, you may be thinking, what has this got to do with Kakar? Before the Kakaars were given to you, the Guru showed you the power of a Kakar. If you're sitting here today, Khalsa Week, we're celebrating. What did Khalsa Week come out of? It came out of a sword and it came out of words. And sword and word in English is a really good combination. Because if you take the S and you put it at the back, it becomes words. And if you put the S and you take it to the front, it becomes sword. And the Guru not only gave you words, the Guru gave you a sword too. And the Guru's sword was speaking words, and the Guru's words are like a sword. They are intertwined. One is Bhakti, one is Shakti. The Guru's sword spoke. You think when Guruji said, I need a head, that was more frightening, or you think when they looked at that sword, it was more frightening? It was the sword saying, Main vadna tuanu. I am the thing which is going to kag khanda behandang, khal dal khandang. Khandang means to break into bits. You know the word shastar? Shash means to break. Tar means changi tarah. It's from Sanskrit. There are actually 4 types of shastar. That's not my topic today. We can talk about that another time. Read Mahan Kosh. It's a great, excellent resource. If you haven't got it on your phones, you should download the app. Ishar Micromedia. People ask me, Gyaniji, what's the meaning of this word? I said, do you have a smartphone? They go, yes. I said, I'm not telling you. Because you have the technology. Just like we have this is technology, right? We have the eyes with which to see. How you choose to see is with you. You have the tongue with which to speak. How you choose to speak is with you. Now you have this technology. You can watch cat videos all day on YouTube. right? Or you can have a folder called Gurbani and you can look in that. And you can have a folder called mindfulness. You can have a folder called meditation. Call whatever the folder you want to call it, whatever. But use these. This is technology. It is the way you use it. This is a technology. It is the way you use it. This is a technology. Just like this is a physical thing. You lose your phone. Pagal nahi banda ho janda. Phone gwaach janda. What is it? Oh, it's a material thing. Oh, the Kakaars, they're material things. What is all this spirituality got to do with the material? My friend, you lose your phone, you lose your mind. Because these material things have a deeper meaning to us. And there are levels and all these other things which we can go in today, but I want to bring you back to what I was saying. 3,000 people look at Guru Gobind Singh Ji's sword and they see death. Because that's what the sword is saying, right? It's saying, hello, I am death. Pehla maran kabool. You see, the words are saying it, but when the words say it as a different, when it comes in the form of a sword, those same words are in that sword. Pehla maran kabool is in that sword. Right? Marta marta jag mua is in that sword. All these words which are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, all of this Bani is now shining in the Guru's sword. Next time you look at your Kirtan and your Gatra, why don't you look at it like that? Why don't you look at it and say, you know what, this is saying to me, Pehla maran kabool. This is saying to me, Aisi marni jo mare bahar na marna hoye. This is saying to me, death is not the beginning, death can be immortality. That is what the sword is speaking when it speaks to you. These Kakaars, they can speak to you. Just like I've given many talks, lectures, YouTube videos, whatever, about Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji speaking. But you have to have the ears, you have to have that devotion, you have to open up yourself to that, to listen. So I'm just going to wrap this up and we go into a 7-minute meditation. I think then, we can see how we feel after that. We can either have a break, which I think probably is a good idea, just because I'm really tired, or we can carry on for a few more minutes, which I'm quite happy to do as well, because I'm here to serve you with Guru Sahib's grace. And whether, I'm dragged here, whether I fall asleep before you and hit my head against the mic, I'm still here to serve you. So, menu vad to vad tang karo. I give you that kulli shutti. You can put me through as much distress as you can. Youngsters, elders, whoever. I just want to wrap up this little introduction thing. I was thinking about the Kakaars and I thought, you know what? There Ram stood there, he looked at the Guru's sword and he said, that is life. He looked at the Guru's sword and he said, that is immortality. If that touches me, I'll never die again. He could read the words which were in the sword. Give your Kakaars a chance to speak. Take time to listen to what they have to say. Any object can become meaningless, Sadh Sangat Ji, any object. Koi bhi object apni meaning lose kar sakda hai, anything. But any object has, I'll tell you a little story about Sutre Shah after this as well. You think, how does Sutre Shah connect to the Kakaars? Well, he does. There's a little story about Sutre Shah, which I'll tell you after this. But just to wrap up that, my beginning point about Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Vaisakhi 1699, Khalsa week and all this big celebration that we're doing, because one man stood up and looked into a sword and saw beyond death, saw beyond destruction, saw beyond pain. I said yesterday, I was reading Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Once I was very, very depressed. And yes, Gyanijis do get depressed. We are also human beings. This was many years ago now. It was at a point in my life where I thought, you know what? When I go in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji in our Darbar at home, I stand there and I say, Bapu Ji, Edda mere naal hoya, Edda hoya, this happened, this happened, this happened. Sometimes I can't look Guru Sahib Ji directly. Sometimes I look down at the ground and I tell him. Sometimes my tears speak. Sometimes I say, you know what? I cannot even say a word to you right now, but I know that you know that I know that you know. And because I know that you know that I know that you know, that's enough for me. And you may not understand that, I may not, but he does, or Satguru Ji does. My Satguru Ji can, vin bolya sab ke janda. I'm not saying you don't speak, you can speak as well. There is a time for putting mera dukh sukh tujh hi paas. These are all different, these aren't conflicting words. Because you are not the same person every single minute of your life. 1 minute you are crying, 1 minute you are laughing. If someone says to me, oh, half an hour ago you were crying, why are you laughing now? Cry the rest of your life. Who lives like that? Because you change every single second of the day, that is why the Bani is speaking to you in that light, then in this light, then in that light, then in this light. It is not contradictory. It is taking the whole spectrum of human life and all your emotions and all your experiences. And Gurbani is being a guiding light at every single point. And when you need the Guru to know what you know without having you to say it, the Guru will know. And when you need the Guru to listen and you need to speak and cry and shout, the Guru will listen to your cries and shouts. That is how the Guru speaks. That is how the Guru works. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj stands with that sword. One man can read those words. And he says, I am ready. Because one man can see the words concealed in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's sword. That is where Vaisakhi begins. And just to finish with a little Sotre Shah story, because it always gives a little bit of a lightness to the mood, I find. If you haven't heard of Baba Sotre Shah, he was born with a full set of teeth, according to the story. Whether you believe that or not, frankly, I don't care. Because it adds to the story. But they say that he was born with a full set of teeth. And that is in our history. And the Sikhs, Maharaj heard this child crying. Maharaj said, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji stops his horse. He says, go and get that child over there. Someone picks him up, one of the Sikh. And if a child was born with a full set of teeth, now when I'm saying full set of teeth, I'm not saying 32. There would have been teeth at birth, right? Or as a youngster. And so the Gursikh picks up, Maharaj Kutra. This child is deformed. Kutra means deformed. Which child is born with a full set of teeth? Maharaj Kutra. Guru Sahib says, Leke aao ithe. They bring it to Maharaj, they bring the child. Guru Sahib picks up the child, puts him against his neck. Maharaj goes, Sada Sutra. Sutra means embellished, decorated, beautiful. Not deformed. That is the Guru's nazar, by the way. That is the Guru's grants. You know, Nanak Nadri, Nadar Nihal. That's the Nadri Nadar Nihal that converts Kutra. The world looks at it as a Kutra. The world looks at your Kakar, and sometimes we look at the Kakar as well as burdens. But if you follow what the Guru says, you will see your Kakars are something which can lead you to be Sutra. Anyway, that's not my point about the Sutra story. Sutra gets older. Guru Harai Sahib Ji's time comes. He's always playing jokes and pranks and, always getting on the wrong side of the people who are the Prabandhaks at that time. And they hate him. They don't want him to come anywhere near the Guru. So they all get together and they say, right, how can we stop this Sutra coming to the Guru? One goes, look, he doesn't own a penny in the world. Idda karo. One Syana Banda. And remember this. Syane Bande, Pehli Paudi Parlo Japji Sahib di. If you're very Syana, if you're too Syana, then read what Guru Nanak says, Syanapa lakh hohe ta ek na challe. The path of spirituality is not a path of being Syana. Now, you may say, oh, no, Gyani ji, mat honi chahiye, aa hona chahiye. Yes, very true. Andar Syana, Bahar Pola. That is the way of Gursikhi. There is a place for Syanap. When your Syanap becomes a big board, I am the most Syana, there is no Syana like me, the Guru says, you know what? Bhagat bina bao dube, Syane. Many people who have thought that they are very clever, that they know it all, Guruji says, Soi ajan. That person knows nothing. Kahe mein janna. The person who tells you that I know everything, bas Guruji says, right, that person, onu kuch nahi pata. Janan harna channa re. Anyway, getting back to my story. They say, Sutra is there and how can we get rid of him? So there's a Syana. The Syana says, right, idda karde hain, oh hega nang tadang. Nang tadang, nang malang jo marji keh lo. He has not a penny to his name. Let's do this. we will say anyone who wants to come to see the Guru must bring the Guru a gift. If you do not have a donation, if you do not have a gift, we will not let you in the door. Now Sutre Shah gets this news. There are big peredar standing there with big barshe outside the door. And he thinks, "Hun main ki kara?" Then he sits and suddenly, boom, inspiration comes. Now what does Baba Sutra do? He takes off his hajuriya, lies it down on the ground, fills it with rocks, fills it with stones, fills it with dust. Then he ties a really nice knot, goes home, gets the best type of cloth which he has at home, covers it with a little cloth, then he puts it on his head. And he starts walking along, Satnam Vaheguru, So anyone standing to, Pare hojo, Pare hojo, Satnam. And he turns up and the Paredar looks, and they look at each other, they go, this guy has nothing, ek hi leke aaya. We can't stop him. The rule is, anyone has a gift, they will be allowed. Whether it's Sutra, whether it's anyone else. As long as you have a gift, that is the way of getting in. They all look at each other. Chalo, jao andar. Satnam. He's doing this. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Imagine him walking in. He walks in. And he doesn't look at anyone. Satnam. He goes in front of Guru Sahib. And he puts down his peta. Then he turns his back to Guru Sahib. And he bows down to the peta. To what he'd bought, the gift. Then he starts doing parikrama, going around. Not the Guru, but the gift. He goes around it once, twice, 3 times, again and again and again and again. And as he goes, then after that he comes and he sits down in the Sangat looking at the gift. Not looking at Guru Sahib, looking at the gift. Vaheguru, Vaheguru. And one of the Sangat, because the Sangat vich siane hunde mere varge, right? So one of these famous Syane, again, when I'm saying Syana, I'm not talking about that mat which is given by the Guru. That's a different type of Syana. That's Bahar, Andar Syana, Bahar Pola. That's different, completely different path. The Syanap of Gursikhi is something different. Gursikhi da karm hai Gur farmaye Gursikh karna. Because the Gursikh Syanap does not belong to him or her, it belongs to Guru Nanak. And the Gursikh Syanap is, if you just give me the hem of your robe, I will try not to let go. That is my Syanap. If you just give me a little, this much, my Syanap is just to grab hold of that and try not to let go. That is my Syanap. Anyway, Gursikh gets up. He goes, Maharaj, why you let this madman here? You say he's a saint. You say he's a great Gursikh. What is he doing? He didn't even matha take to you. Guru Harai Sahib Ji Maharaj then looks at the Sangat. Maharaj looks at Sutra. Maharaj has that smile which the Guru had upon his face. And when the Gurus used to smile, the Gurus used to laugh. Imagine what that time must have been like. They say Guru Gobind Singh Ji's laugh used to roar through Anandapur. And there were Sikhs who could make him laugh, by the way. You know, we have this idea of Sikh is that person who sits there all the time like this. He's the greatest Gyani Ji. Where did that Mittatnivi Nanaka go? Where did Harjan Gun Gavat Hasya? I remember the day that Yogi Ji passed away, Hukamnama Sahib, I think in the evening at Harmandir Sahib was Harjan Gun Gavat Hasya. The servant of the Lord laughs. Hasandiyan, Khelandiyan, Penandiyan, Viche Hove. Bhai Veer Singh writes about the Gursikh who he used to go to see. Hardam khede mile tusi sanu tosa mathe vat na pai. He says the Gursikh who I go and sit next to, he never ever ever had line upon his forehead, always smiling. That is the Gursikhi, the blossoming. You know when we read Andar mushk ko liya, that fragrance. Man khidya harya baag, the blossoming baag of the mind. This blossoming, this laugh, this kheda, sat suhan, sada man chao. Never-ending bliss. Anand paya, we read it at the end of every divan, but sometimes, Anand paya. Anand paya meri mae. What are you saying? You are saying I've gone beyond pain. Anand paya meri mae. Sat Guru mein paya. Next time you read Anand Sahib, again, whether it is the sword, whether it is the word, how do you approach it? When I say word, I'm talking about Gurbani. When I'm saying sword, I'm talking about the Kakaars. It is your choice on how to approach your Guru. You understand what I'm saying? Try and connect with what I'm saying. Now Sutra Shah is sitting there and he's smiling. And Maharaj says to him, Sutra, please give your clarification. Sutra Shah gets up and he says, Maharaj, I have bowed to you. Before you I bowed to your grandfather, because the light of Guru Nanak resides within you. For me, there is nothing else on this earth equal to you. Nothing at all, Guru Sahib. You are Gur Parmeshwar. You are the form of the formless. You are the light in the darkness. Whenever I am in pain, wherever I am in happiness, I look only to you. Maharaj laughs, what about that? Sutra Shah then opens it up. Maharaj, look what I bought for you. Well, opens it up. Rocks, stones, mud, trash. Guru Sahib says, Menu da tu pehla light kenda siga. You're saying, I'm the light of the universe and you bow down to the trash. Sutra Shah says, Maharaj, that mitti, that dust which opened the doors of your court to me, I even bow down to that dust. Your Kakaars, yes, they are made out of metal, they are made out of wood, they are made out of cloth. But if they allow you to walk on the path of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's love, then they're worth bowing down to. They're worth respecting. And whether you're wearing one at the moment, whether you're wearing 5, whether you're wearing 4, you've invented a 6th. Don't invent a 6th, by the way. Don't take me to the Akal Takht. Do not kick me out of the Panth, please. Whoa. Have to give the clarification. Again, we're laughing and joking. People take things out of context. They'll put a little clip up on WhatsApp tomorrow. Bhai Sukha Singh exposed, suggesting that the Singaporean Sangat make a 6th Kakar. I'm not suggesting that. No. 5 is enough. Quite happy to carry my 5. What I'm trying to say is I'm not taking this the conventional way. Kada means this, Ganga means this, Kashara means this. Because Kada means something to you which it may not mean to me. That day when you're about to do something wrong, you looked at your Kada. That day you will only know what the Kada meant to you. That day when you're sitting reading Jab Sahib, or you're sitting and you read some Bani and suddenly Khadg ke tamai sharan tihari, the one upon whose nishan, the one upon whose flag there is a sword, I bow down to you. And you look at the sword. You look at the Kirtan in your Gatra. That day, the feeling, that experience which you have, I may not know about it. And I don't need to. Because in the end, it is between you and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. I just want you to turn away from looking at the Kakaars as a burden. Because these Kakaars are colored in the Guru's love. And the Guru didn't love just simply by saying, I love my Sikh. The Brahmins came, they asked, they go, Maharaj, why do you love these people so much? Guruji said, Jod jite inhi ke prasad. I won my battles when these sons of mine gave their heads. Talking about you. Inhi ke prasad so daan kare. If I am able to give many gifts of elephants and money and diamonds, it's because of these people sitting before me, the Guru said. Ag aug tere inhi ke prasad. They have saved me even from sin. Sitting amongst the Khalsa, sitting amongst the Sangat, when you come and sit next to a Gursikh who vibrates the love of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, sitting in the person of that Gursikh, he or she. When you sit next to someone who's vibrating that light, who has that within them, who has that love flows out of their eyes and flows out of their words and flows out of their presence. And sometimes that love is enough to save you from doing the next paap, the next sin. Ag aug tere inhi ke prasad, inhi ki kripa fun tam pare. If my Anandpur is full of diamonds and gold, it is because they work all day and night, then they give me their disvand. Guru Gobind Singh Ji speaking the truth. Where do my mountains of diamonds come from? From these Sikh who work all day and night, then give me a little bit. Jod jite inhi ke prasad so daan kare ag augtare inhi ke prasad inhi ki kirpa funtam pare then Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj carries on, inhi ke prasad so vidyalahi inhi ki kirpa sab satar mare. Because of them, I sought out and got educated. I got vidya so I could give it to them. The Guru says, because of them, they inspired me that I must gain the vidya that I can give to them. Inhi ke prasad, Maharaj talks about, Vidya Maharaj said, inhi ke kripa sab satar mere. With their grace, all of the enemies have fallen down. Inhi ki kripa ke saje hum hain nahi, mose gharib crore pare. By the grace of my Khalsa, I am. And when the Guru gave you his Kakaars, the Guru gives you, and I say this at the end of, usually when I come to the end of a Shaheed Di Saka, your Kakaars, Khalsa Ji, are not made of metal and lakkad and cloth. What joins me to you, I don't know many of you, I don't know any of you really. Some of you I've seen before when I came to Singapore many years ago, Silat Road, Gurdwara Sahib. I spent a few days there doing Katha at Diwali. And I spoke about Guru Gobind Singh Ji's last physical days, and that was a beautiful experience. The Sangat of Singapore gave me a lot of love. And I have that in my heart, but I'm not related to you by blood. I'm not related to you by law. What relation is there between us? You and I are related because of the blood of Baba Ajit Singh. That is the blood which joins me to you. Not the blood of X family or Y family or Z family. The blood of Mata Gujri Ji flowing from the Thanda Burj is what joins me to you. The blood of 5-year-old Baba Fateh Singh and 7-year-old Baba Zorawar Singh is what joins me to you. The blood in Chamkaur Sahib of Baba Jujar Singh, that 15-year-old warrior, that is what joins me to you. What joins these Kakaars to you? It is that same blood, that same sacrifice, that same love. That is what gave us these Kakaars. Anyway, I'm going to bring this to the 7-minute meditation. Then we can go through the Kakaars a little bit as well. You can, at the end we can even share our experiences. I know that sometimes it's a little bit hard on the mic. If you don't want to ask me a question in front of the Sangat, I am more than happy to answer your questions in a 1-by-1 or 2-by-2 or whoever whatever makes you happy way. I'm happy to do that as well. Because sometimes your questions are very personal. And I understand that, right? Because when I have questions, they're very personal. And I like to seek out the person on my own. If you're willing to share, that's fine too. Tika? So we'll have that towards the end. I just want to finish with 7 minutes because we're coming up to about 8. So I think now's a good time to have a break. These 7 minutes, I want you to just contemplate the introduction. So what have we spoken about today? See the sword shining at Anandpur Sahib. See Baba Sutre Shah laughing as he can see what that dust means to him. The whole world can say it's dust, but for Baba Sutra, that was the key to God's door. The whole world can say your Kakaars are just made out of material, but the one who experiences them, he or she looks at them in a different way. So the way I do this 7-minute meditation, and this 7-minute meditation isn't something which I learned in a book, by the way. This is something which came to me through experience. So this is how I began my journey of Naam Simran. So there's not very much, it's not very hard, it doesn't contain very much mudra or posture, just simply sitting still, cross-legged, not touching anyone next to you, sort of having a little bit of distance will also help you, and I'm sure it'll help the person next to you as well, just to keep a little bit concentrated. At home, I usually put a cushion behind my back because I have a little bit of osteoarthritis in my weight here in the left side, so I find it a little bit hard to sit for long. So I have a little pillow usually which I put behind me. And I try to meditate in the same place. At home, obviously now I'm in Singapore, I'm not going to fly back to Newcastle in the Amrit Vela. Just, I need to do my Simran, I need to go back to Newcastle. I'm not crazy, I may look it, but when I'm at home, I have that same place. Why? Because that place picks up your vibe. And we say, oh, vibe, that doesn't sound like a very Sikhi word. Oh, how can something pick up your vibe? Okay, jitthe jaye behe mera Satguru so than suhava. That place became beautiful where my Satguru sat. Why? Because it took on that vibe of the Guru. Where the Guru sat. Jeh Satguru teh sat sangat banai. Jithe naam japiye prabh pyare sei asthal soyan chabare. Where I meditate upon your name, my beloved, that place may be a dusty little hut, but for me it is a golden palace. So try and have a golden palace in your own house somewhere. You don't have to suddenly paint the walls gold. You don't have to get diamonds and stud them into the walls. But there's just one diamond, you stud it onto your tongue, it's called Vaheguru. Wherever you sit, try and make one place. It just has to be this much space in your house. Inna ki jagah bana lo. And give yourself 7 minutes. Now, why do I do 7 minutes? Firstly, I usually begin with a little ardas just within my head, or I can say a Shabad. The reason why I say a little Shabad is just to ask Maharaji. And the Shabad can be any one of your choosing, whatever you know, whatever you don't. Sabte vadda Satguru Nanak, jin kal rakhi meri. You could begin with that. Dandod Mandan Anakbar, Sarva Kala Samrat, Dolan te rakho Prabhu Nanak dekar had sagal dwar ko shad keh gahe to haro dwar, bahen gaye ki lajas ko. I really don't care what Shabad you pick, but I want it to be a Shabad which moves you. Some of you heard my katha, I begin, Pujval Veer Brahma Sukha Sagar. Why do I use that Shabad? Because it moves me. And as I say it, it takes me somewhere else. That's why I use it. Because again, when I was in darkness, that Shabad showed me the light. So at the beginning of my katha, I still go back to that because it centers me. Gurbani is Amrit. Wherever you take a little piece of it, start from there. We won't do that today because then we'll have a few hundred people or whatever, 50 people or whatever it is doing one Shabbat, somebody bring jabsa, somebody bring chope, we won't do that today, but when you go home, this is something which you can take with you. So just do a little Shabbat. Then, a very good apps you have on your phones. So this app is called Insight. Hang on, I don't even know what it's called. It's called Insight Timer. Now you have a lot of meditation timers like this. Now, I'm not plugging this particular, I'm not getting paid by them. They're not, not funding me. Sikh Sangat nu app download karo. There are many different meditation timers which you can use. And, go ahead and look what one suits you, right? The reason why I use a timer is, so I don't do this. Vaheguru, 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 kinne vaj gaye, Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Have I done 10 minutes? Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Is it half an hour? Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. What's the time now? Vaheguru, Vaheguru. So I don't do that. I have a meditation timer. ठीक है? Because I'm rather than having to doing Simran of the clock, I'd rather be doing Simran of the person I meant to be, the being I meant to be doing Simran of. That ik oankar within me, right? So what I've done here is it begins and there's no sound, right? After 1 minute 30 seconds, you will hear a bell, right? And that means this part of the meditation is over, go on to the next part. And then after 4 minutes, you will hear another bell. That means now this part is over, go on to the next. Then when that 1 minute 30 is over, you will hear another bell. That means this is your time to enter out of meditation. I'm not saying that you have to only do 7 minutes. Bhai Sahib says only 7 minutes. No. You know why I say all this? Because I've heard people quote me like this before. I'm not saying only 7 minutes. I'm saying begin 7 minutes. Then it'll become 14. Then it'll become 21. Then it'll become half an hour. Then it'll become 1 hour. Then it'll become 2 hours. Then one day maybe it'll become your life. Because then you won't need to just sit down. Oh, I do utat, batat, sovat, naam. Okay, all right, mate. Utat, then batat. First, utke, bat. Even that is telling us utat, batat, utke, bat. Then you will get to